Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast, a show that examines all aspects of sexuality, from physical to emotional to spiritual. Join our hosts as they discuss age-old questions, common misconceptions, and the latest topics surrounding sex. They'll tackle topics about sexuality from the complicated to the hilarious and everything in between. GSMC Sex Podcast is your show for all of your questions about sex, even some you might not have thought of yet.
Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Sex Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Andra, where the topic about sex is from the point of view of an older woman. Hello, all my Christmas shoppers. Best time to go out there and buy your partner your favorite toy that you want to use on them, or just what they have been asking for in the sex toy or anything else sexy department. Now it's going to be a bit of a rush this week because Christmas is on Friday. How quickly, and even in a pandemic, just driving around out there, seeing all the people with their lights on their houses and lit up, looks like a little pretty picture, in a pandemic. So, today, I say self your body, who you are sexually, and what your body wants, and how to turn it on. But, just like with sex, regular partner sex, you can mix up masturbation just the same way. And that goes for a man or woman. So, together. This is solo play, dear. Everybody need to know this is just solo play. I know there's mutual masturbation and all of that good stuff. But when we, in the house alone, you're horny, and you just want to get a release. There are some ways to spruce up solo play. And we're going to talk about the man first, because men like it, even though probably women do it more than men, and men think they are immune. You are not. So, let's get the show rolling. Now, and I don't gotta tell any woman, cat, dog, that sex is healthy for you. So is masturbation. And they, require you, or at least hope that you're doing it, because it is good for your body. They say milk does the body good, masturbation does the body better. It gives you all these, these endorphins releasing in your body. Then it goes right down. These trigger those positive sensations. And just, that what you're going to like. And maybe sprucing it up a bit might make that part new to you better. And it will definitely release that built up sex tension that you have. Will set the mood in anything you do sexually, providing I mean, you don't always have to set the mood, but for version or image of Masturbate, a Playboy magazine, and making it quick and just to relieve themselves. Generally, it doesn't have to be an erotic video. It might just be a movie you were watching, or it might be a video you and your partner made. It's really up to you. And what it is, it could be a movie that you watched of an actress or an actor that you like, and they're in a steamy sex scene. That might be your erotic. Never ever know. Slowly teasing yourself. Generally, you go in, it's masturbation, you get what you're gonna do, you lube, this, that, and the other, your sex toy, whatever it might be, and then you just go to town because you're on a mission. No. Slow it down. You get a little sexually, tension in there, feeling a bit frisky, but you know you're not gonna get sex that night. Don't rush it. Play around with yourself. Maybe get a vibrating toy and just sit it on top of your penis and see how long you can go for a while without, touching yourself or anything. Slow it down. Tease yourself. Always stay relaxed and always stay present. Just like with sex, switch positions. There's always that picture of a man sitting there with his one leg up, one leg down, leaning back like he's cool, and he's leaning in the car, but his steering wheel is his penis. And then they're jerking off to either, watching you or the TV or to something else, or they got their hand down their pants. You don't always have to be in that position to masturbate, men. You can walk around the house. I mean, you use different positions when you're having sex. Use different positions when you're having, when you're masturbating by yourself. Maybe you're so used to doing it in the bedroom. How about getting out of that bedroom, going on the couch, sitting on the arm of the chair and doing it? Who knows? I'm just making some stuff up here. I mean, if you're always just standing there, leaning, against that wall or counter, that could be your thing. There are different ways that you always do it. You're always on the bed or you're always in the chair. And these are the images that we are we see. But if you changed up your positions, and it will give you a different sensation. And then, most likely it'll be more satisfaction for you. So you may just try a different position later. That's what it's all about, people. Next, guys, take your time. You don't got to get in there and, get your head on the prize, your eyes on the prize, anything on that prize, which is that orgasm. Take your time. Experiment with the speed for which you are, stroking your penis. The positions of your hand. Try it, have 5 different toys set up there. Go out and buy some new ones. You have your ones that you've always had. And go find, buy some new ones and put them alternating new, old, new, old, new, old, new, old, or whatever, and try a different one and compare. There are so much things you can do in solo play and to get that awesome orgasm. Next is switch hands. It doesn't, if you are a lefty, it's your dominant hand, and you're always using that hand, you don't got to. Because you got to think about it. If you're holding a tool, you're using both hands, or you're using your other hand or you're holding that tack with your non-dominant while you hit with your dominant. Swap it up. Just be very careful, but swap it up. Don't want you to hurt yourself. It's a way of getting used to it. When changing hands, basically compare it to changing positions, and they cause different sensations and different intensity in your ejaculation. So remember that. There are different things that you can think about to do when switching hands. It doesn't always have to be what you've always done. Now, if you're feeling a little frisky, there is one move that you can try, which is the stranger. And this is how they explain it. That technique where you sit on your hand until it falls asleep, and then use it to stimulate the feeling of another person giving you a hand job. So now it gives you that view of how your partner is doing it to you. And when their hands get tired, you'll understand that. You gotta try it. If you're looking for any adventure in your masturbating, try holding your penis against your stomach and then stroking the underside of your shaft quickly with your non-dominant hand. These are all things that you can try. Another thing you can do is move your hips. Now, obviously, a guy masturbates, they're not moving their hips. But there's no partner there or anything, so you don't worry about that. Moving some of those motions with your hips. Try that gyrating and thrusting. It helps with the increase in intensity, and it really will lead to more pleasure. It doesn't have to be the same all the time. Take your hips. You can either move them in a circular motion, back and forth, or what is good that you find is going to be good for you. Hell, you might have a hole in the wall. Oh, it's your choice. So I heard you added, but increase the speed, and this is as you get closer to your ejaculation. Moving those hips and thrusting and everything will help with that. Try different strokes. Now, moving your hand down gets a little bit tired. It is the tried and true masturbation technique. Generally for you men or individuals with penises, it obviously brings you to where you want to be, and that is your orgasm. But constantly doing that, you cannot say that you do not get bored of that one thing. Try different movements, experiment with them. They allow for you to have a more profound and powerful experience when you masturbate. There are some ways in which different strokes you can use. The long twisted strokes from base to tip. Your palm can pull your penis head while masturbating with a full hand grip. You can always add a little bit of rubbing. And it's to the 3-finger classic grip, Just play it. Just really experiment, finding out. Find ways, your stroking ways, different movements and things that will work for you, because that's what we're here for. We're trying to make you pleasure. Now, let's see. On the penis, you have other areas down there who are screaming for attention. you have your scrotum, your testicles, the shaft, and we love those nerves that we sit on the perineum, which are located in that space between your testes and your anus. Play with them. Play around with them. Rub that area. Play around with your testes. Don't forget about your anus, your prostate, because all these old things all have nerve endings that will bring you to that great buildup for you to let go of that enormous orgasm. Explore other erogenous zones on your body. Obviously, we have the neck, we have the ears, we have the nipples, mouth, lips, all of those. Play with them. They're yours. No one's watching. Do it. If you're going to have your partner do it to get you off, do it. And it will make that masturbation session go so much nicer. And like I said briefly, don't forget about your prostate, because this is known as the male G-spot. And you can go out there, a little butt plugs that vibrate and massage. Or if you are adventurous and you want to stick your own finger up there, hey, that's your choice. Solely your choice. I mean, obviously, if you stick your finger there, you know exactly where to touch. If you're sticking a butt plug in, it's kind of just sitting there. So unless you're used to it, get a bigger one. Completely up to you. Shop some good anal sex toys. Obviously, try edging. Bring yourself all the way to it and stop. Bring yourself all the way up and stop. You'll get to the point where you can't hold it anymore. Let it go. Make the stroking speed fast. Hold the head of your penis and stop. Then do it as much until you can't do it anymore. Toy or two, use it. It's there. Now, there are some toys that are generally commonly used, which is the automatic stroker, fleshlights, pocket strokers, prostate stimulators, or anal beads. Go out and find out what you want. And then there is always more and more and more porn videos. So, try a new one. Heaven only knows if you have that favorite one that you got. You used it. You got off, but could have used a little bit more. Go get another one. Try another one. Who says that you got to stick with the same one? So, guys, start your engines and get a masturbating, because we are going to take the first break in the show. So, if you have already started your solo play, you can keep it up. For those of you who have not got into it but are feeling the little twinkle there, go get a drink, go get a snack, get relaxed, and it will come shortly to you. Because we're going to talk about women in solo play next for the vagina.
Still on the search of that one true love? On the limbo in this crazy world of dating, marriage, relationships? Well, listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Relationship Podcast, your one-stop podcast for everything about relationships.
Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Sex Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Andra, where the topic about sex is from the point of view of an older woman. Now, welcome back. I hope you were able to get done with what you're doing, or get that snack and sit down and get relaxed so you can begin. Either way, we are now moving on to the masturbation with a vagina. Some little bit of tips and tricks for solo play. Obviously, women have way more than men because we are innies and not outies. We have so many more areas. We are a little bit more complex. But nonetheless, women, masturbation is still good and healthy for you, too. Now, obviously, for either male or female, exercising is a way to relieve your stress. Just that overall one-on-one time with your body and yourself. But obviously, it also turns on women. And you get horny. So after exercising and working out, and you get that little bit of a horny boost in you, hey, go masturbate. It's natural. We have way more perineum nerves than men do. But those are good. Masturbation obviously is safe. So it makes you feel good. So you discover, just like men, what gets you hot and what not. And just like with men, it's a release of built up sexual tension. Now, we are going to basically infinite, so many health benefits, and nice because it can be very fun because you are pleasuring yourself. You don't got to worry about anybody else coming in and pleasuring you. You can get in there and do what you want to yourself. Just be careful. You can hurt yourself, especially if you're using a new toy. Please educate yourself about that toy. Obviously, you don't need to communicate or consent unless you're going to use that toy during some partner play. But if you want to give yourself consent, go right ahead. Basically, just how getting started and ways in which you can, and things you can do that are really going to amp up the heat, because that's what you want. Now, there are different types of masturbation for women, typically, and they do vary person to person. And men love this one, the clitoral masturbation. And you just play with it with your fingers or a vibrator until you get that tingly feeling in all over your body. Your brain's telling you, I gotta release. So just, that is a big time pleasure. Obviously, coming up right behind clitoral is vagina. You can also use your fingers, toys. Hey, I've heard people use pickles and cucumbers. And this, using that sex toy to penetrate during solo play. And it also allows, depending on the toy, you get that deeper, bigger orgasm for yourself. We have an anal orgasm. Hey, fingers and toys work well there. Just remember that if this is your first time, go slow. They do have starter kits out there. Now, when you are doing this, obviously anal play is deeper penetration, But don't put it in beforehand, right before you're gonna orgasm. That feeling of intensity which are around your anal sphincter. So it's gonna, if you put it in and it's in there, when you put it in, it's completely up to you. But when they contract, they're gonna basically hold on to that, which is gonna give you more and more pleasure. Now there is the combo. This one is personal, all about having personal preference. You can use both hands to play with your vagina and your clitoris. You can use a sex toy in your fingers. You're going to be stimulating your clitoris and your vagina, especially trying to get to that G spot. And you do it at the same time. Doing this, twice, in combination, will give you that really big orgasm. And it's funny because you might even go into, and you probably already done this, had a little ejaculation, ladies. Come on, you can do the nipple masturbation and get you off. Pull, squeeze, tug on your nipples, your inner thighs, your ears, your neck, other body parts. Who cares? These are all pleasurable parts of your body. Now you may ask yourself, which you already know the answer, how do I get started? You could just do it where you're going to masturbate and it really doesn't lead to an orgasm. You might just want to get yourself ready. If at point your partner's coming over or you want to get an endorphin rush. But obviously you're not going to want to stop. You're going to want to finish. But if somebody walks in, especially the kids, you or your mother, you don't want them seeing you doing that. So you're going to stop. Just letting you know that. But as with men, set the mood for yourself, ladies. And I think as women, you do it more than men do. Men just get right to the punch. So, but make that nice warm bath with bubbles. Put candles there in the bathroom with you. Put some light music on. Have a glass of wine and just relax. And then go right into masturbating. Obviously, adding lubrication obviously will help with the sex toys and your fingers and any way you want to do it. Even use it on your nipples and your thigh, whatever. Get your float going. Go with it. Ladies, when you're in there, let your mind wander. You're getting relaxed. Let it take you somewhere. I mean, you could be thinking about something that turned you on last week, or something that you did today that you got a little bit of that sexual ooh in there. Think about it. This goes true for men. It goes true for women. Take your time. Especially if you're in the house by yourself. Please. Take as long as you want. Freaking play. Stop. Do something. Come back. Do something. Come back. Really, you're teasing your body until that point you can't hold it anymore. And when even walking is problematic. Obviously, explore all your erogenous zones. But another thing is, which you probably would not ever have heard someone say when it comes to masturbating, is give your usual sex toys a break. Try it without any sex toys. Try something else. Rub your vulva against a pillow, the edge of the couch, a chair. Roll up a towel or something. There are different kinds of toys that are out there that are not only dildos. They have a pillow that you can sit on that vibrates. Look it up. Now, you can also think of considering erotica or pornography, whatever it is. Read that little dirty book that gets you in the mood, and they have a lot of them out there. And I don't just mean the 50 Shades of Grey. They have ones that are even more erotic than that out there. They don't write these things for nothing. Now, if you want to explore your clitoris, which is that little pearl-sized organ, isn't it cute? Because we call it pearl size. It is covered by the hood that is found at the top of the vulva, which I'm sure you don't need directions. Some people do. The glands of the clitoris, they're about the size of a pearl. That's why they call it pearl size or a pea. But it's really the structure of it. It is more complex and extensive. So it's got a lot of nerve endings. And which, this is why it is that most sensitive part of your genitals. And that's why women or individuals with a vagina can have that orgasm by simply stimulating their clitoris. Obviously, you're massaging the fleshy area on the top of your pubic bone. Then you run your fingers along the outer lips of the vulva, and you can start stroking like the hood as a V, right around, around the clitoris. There's a lot of ways you can use a vibrator. Completely up to you. If you want to try for that, for a vaginal orgasm, now, it's a big myth that people, females or individuals with a vagina have a hard time climaxing with vaginal stimulation. Well, it's not true, but it is a little bit more work. Doesn't mean you can't have severe fun with it, though. So penetrate your vagina with your fingers, because you can rub your fingers up against the wall of your vagina, or you can do it with and encompassing a toy at the same time. Obviously, if you want to go the big way, and this is with the vaginal orgasm, you first massage the vaginal opening, then slowly insert your fingers or your sex toy, one or the other, for penetration. Make sure that your vagina is wet. If it is not, please use some lubrication. You do not want to hurt yourself because of the friction. You move your fingers or your toys in a circular motion, in and out, stroking. Do whatever combination you like. They state that the best is to use a come hither motion to stimulate that G-spot. Always increase the speed and the pressure as you get along and you're building up to that explosive orgasm. Now, ladies, if you want to experiment with anal, which is with anal orgasms, you can do this on your own, because this also helps you if your partner is looking into have a little anal play with you. You can start this yourself. Okay? So, when you do use anal play, it's getting to the G-spot through the wall of the that shed between the rectum and the vagina. But you have to use lube when you do this. Very, 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 very important, because vagina has its own lubricating Anus does not. Alright, you can start massaging the outside and inside of the opening of your anal opening. Slowly inserting your finger or that sex toy in there. Please look into, if this is your first time, get the smallest butt plug out there. Switch between, the circular and in and out motions as you penetrate your anus. And then start going faster, and the pleasure builds up, and really until you get into your orgasm. There are a lot of toys out there, so please go and look them up. Now, if you're going for the combination with the erogenous combo and the erogenous zones, a lot of people, when you do that, send you even higher off on an orgasm. So do intensify there. You can use both hands or combine fingers, sex toys for the clitoris. And they do have strap-ons, the solo play, so that might be helpful for you. Go wild with all of your rhythms. Move it around. Those hips will go in different speeds. Slow penetration, fast penetration. Go for it. Hit those erogenous zones. Just like with men, here are some positions for you ladies. One is for clitoral. You laying on your back. And just it's the simply old-fashioned way of basically rubbing your clitoris and feeling it get a little hard. That's one. Then you have your one that is focused for the vagina itself, squatting. And this is really good to help you easily locate the G-spot. Which is about that 2 or 3 inches inside your vagina. Crouch down, heels close, 2 are touching the back of your thighs. You know how to do this. You do squats for exercise. For anal, face down doggy style for yourself. You got your butt plug in, or you're playing with it, and also playing with the vagina. Please, from behind, do it to yourself. For the combo and erogenous zones, try the pretend lover. Now, this means, obviously, your positioning. And when you're thinking of the pretend lover, like as the position, the cowgirl, it's for one. You're riding it. You're riding something. You're riding your favorite dildo, your vibrator, or you have something there that is going to stimulate and stimulate your clitoris and penetrate, or do both of them at the same time. But you're going to start riding that toy as fast as you can. And then try the reflection. Now this is when you're sitting in front of a big mirror with a big tube of lube all over your body, breast, belly, inner thighs, vulva, and start with your hands and just start playing around with all those erogenous zones. Watch yourself do it. If you want all of your senses to get involved, it doesn't have to not include foreplay. You can do foreplay yourself. You may want to put your hand in your bra and play around with your nipples without your clothes on. You may want to put your hands down your pants while you're sitting there and just tickle the little ivory down there. Who knows? If you don't read books, get a dirty magazine, or obviously some visuals, which is watching some kinky movies, porn. Hey, if you want to listen to it and someone's talking to you and you are imagining it, get a tape. Audiobooks are good too. Again, just like with men, masturbating is both healthy, sexy, fun for the woman as well. So, on that note, we are going to take a break here in the show. So, if you have finished with your masturbation, go clean up, come back, get ready for a second session. Or if if you just want to sit there and you've just started, hey, there you go. If you're just joining, go get a drink, go get a snack, come back, get relaxed. But all in all, I will meet you back here for more Sex Talk with Andra.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Thank you for tuning into the GSMC Sex Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Andra, where the topic about sex is from the point of view of an older woman. Hello there, my little Christmas ejaculators. Now, we have been talking about, how to have better solo play for both man and woman. But now we're going to get a little personal. And this is towards the women. How about you women out there who have had a hysterectomy, a required one, and wondering, does that affect the G-spot? There's so many different reasons why a woman would get a hysterectomy. It might relieve painful symptoms of fibroids, abnormal periods, or the big C, cancer. You always come back, and usually some of the things that are said is that after I had my hysterectomy, oh my God, it just was different. Well, yeah, it is. You're missing a vital part of your body there. But it's not going to affect, very, very unlikely to impair your sexual function. I mean, obviously, it is, when they do give you the hysterectomy, they're taking out a part of you, and there were nerve endings and all kinds of things that were affected by it. But really depends on also getting up, solo playing, and getting you back to you. That G-spot, which we all know, is an elusive spot on the vaginal wall. And there are so many people out there, man and woman, that swear by that it holds the key to achieving orgasm. And you know something? The way our bodies are built, anatomically, the G-spot, there is no distinct part of the part of your body where it is. I think it's more associated to how good that orgasm is and hitting what gets you off, that spot that gets you off. But they did have a small study, and they were doing physical exams of cadavers. And they were trying, that find out that they believed the highly sensitive spot located in the vaginal wall, tongue-tied, is part of the clitoral network. So, remember that lovely focus point for sexual areas that men like to go to on you women? Yes, I am. And they do it on me as well. That is our clitoris. That is our little buddy, shall we say, ladies. Just like men have their penis, we have our clitoris. So, and she needs a little attention too. So now, obviously, it's, they believe, the researchers actually believe that the clitoris is the tip of a series of nerve roots that extend into the vaginal canal and form the G-spot. Now, I would gather to believe that after hearing me say that, most of the men out there are saying it is, and I'm going to show you. Women, I know it is, come on. Everything is different for everybody. When you do have a hysterectomy, those roots and tissues and stuff are not going to be taken away. Unless there's something so totally wrong. They may have to, but I have yet to hear that somebody had their clitoris removed. Ooh, gonna have to look into that. But why would you want to do that? It would have to be really, really bad, but that's like the one thing you don't hear. Interesting enough. New stopping ground for me to find out about. Now, what effects does a hysterectomy have on sex? And again, it really depends on the nerves and the orgasms and how severed or removed they were bothered by it or whatever during the surgery. So remember that. There are possible side effects, and knowing those is always good. Now, if you've had a hysterectomy, it's generally very easy, minimal invasive into your body, meaning. But you do need to recover from it. And I don't mean after you have your hysterectomy, come home, have sex. You're not recovered. You need to give your body that 6 to 8 weeks minimum to recover. Doesn't mean your partner cannot play with your nipples or can't do something else to get you off. Okay? But you may feel a little bit uncomfortable. Really avoid penetration. And anything that has to do where the incisions are, let them heal, because you will be in pain. It is really a short-term thing. Good thing to do also is like to wear a girdle, because it helps support the muscles and support all your insides to basically heal properly. But you don't want to go straight in, because you're injuring yourself some more. But hell, if he wants to masturbate at the same time playing with your nipples or whatever, let him do it. It ain't gonna hurt. There are long-term effects, and it depends on what hysterectomy that you had completed. There are different side effects, and they basically depend on the different organs that are removed. Now, obviously, the uterus can be sensitive during sex. So obviously, if you're getting it removed, because that's what a hysterectomy is, it may change your sensations, but it also may awaken other sensations where you can get really good orgasms. You just have to kind of sort of, now there's a new way. And this could be fun for you and your partner, trying to find those new ways and what works on you now after you had your hysterectomy. You know, what are your turn-on points now in getting you to orgasm? They may not be the same, but this is where the fun comes in. Once you're completely healed. I'm just going to keep saying that. Oh. Now, obviously, if you get a total hysterectomy, your cervix is removed. So you have no cervix anymore. However, that sensitivity or that pressure up against it may give you that feel-good sensation, even though it's not there. But it doesn't hinder, it contributes. I'm telling you. When you're getting your cervix removed within your hysterectomy, it may just be altered just a bit, where the quality and intensity of the orgasm is different, but it doesn't prevent in any way from you having an orgasm. Again, you're learning new spots and new positions and new ways to turn you on. And it's make a game of it. Just make a game of it. What are the effects following removal of the ovaries? Well, like with men, women, our ovaries produce testosterone coupled with estrogen. Obviously, these are very, very important parts of our libido and sex drive. They also are there to help in producing that natural lubrication in the vagina's walls. Now, if they're removed, you're going to have an effect because you're going to get those side effects because you're not getting those hormones. You're not getting that testosterone. You're not getting that estrogen. So basically, it'll put you into early menopause. With that hot flash is the nice one because your body's getting used to it. It may also cause a decrease in your sex drive or vaginal dryness. If you do indeed get this, for the most part, you probably won't have to go to your doctor to do this. They're going to know right off. They're probably going to start you on a hormonal treatment regimen. So, and they're going to replace them. Now, when you get that, the hormonal treatment, the replacement treatment, that might just, because now your body's getting what it needs, might send you into sexual overdrive. So be ready, partners, or be ready, sex toy. Now, there are positive effects to having a hysterectomy. Believe it or not, it has been found that it can actually improve sexual response and lead to a more robust sex life. Interesting. This is generally, they equate it to the most in part because the surgery is helping to relieve whatever pain you were experiencing. So that pain is gone, which lets your body focus on your sexual activity a lot more without pain. So, orgasm after hysterectomy, you say? Obviously, it goes back to most people with a vagina don't actually get a vaginal orgasm. It doesn't hysterectomy won't make orgasms during sexual activities more difficult. It's the same. Nothing may change at all. You just, like I said, if you're had a complete hysterectomy, your doctor will generally give you a hormonal replacement treatment, which will help your body give you that testosterone and estrogen to produce what you need in that lubrication and all that good stuff. Obviously, it's part of you women in general, all women. So we are taking a body part out. As simple as that. We're taking a body part out. We're taking a body part that actually is there to give life and bring that human being into the world. So now you've basically ended that. And you're feeling a little like, well, a little unimportant. But you're not. You are not in any way not important. Just got you're a little different right now. That's it. Really, if the hysterectomy went bad, or they hit something, like I said, that had to deal with those nerves, then having a hysterectomy, women, has no effect on your G-spot, your orgasm, or anything. You just need to heal. Now, we are going to continue with this subject matter. But first, we're going to take the last break in the show. So please sit tight and relax. Remain seated in your layback positions, hands in your pants. We are going to go to break, and I will meet you back here for the final segment in the show. So don't go anywhere. And Andra will be back with more sex talk.
Are you tired of the same old news? Are you sick of the seemingly endless political spin and negativity? The GSMC America's Still Beautiful podcast is a weekly news podcast covering all the top positive and uplifting news stories. We cover stories that will inspire, uplift, and remind you of the good in the world. Tune into the Golden State Media Concepts America's Still Beautiful podcast to get all the great and positive news stories of today. Download the GSMC America's Still Beautiful podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Thank you for tuning into the GSMC Sex Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Andra, where the topic about sex is from the point of view of an older woman. And welcome back to the final segment in today's show, where our topic was solo play, males, females, and also, for those of you wondering about, does a hysterectomy mean that you cannot hit your G-spot? It will mean that things will be different, but this is where solo play comes in so importantly, because now you can explore and find out new ways that are going to turn you on, or you can do it with your partner and let you explore together. Either way you want to look at it, either way you want to do it. does not mean you cannot have an orgasm. The clitoral nerves and all of the nerves in your perineum are not destroyed. Yes, there are nerve endings that are severed during surgery, and depending if the surgery was bad or good or whatever, depends on how much those nerves will be an issue. But no relationship to yes, are the clitoral nerves there? Yes, they are. Are they going to be taken out when you have a hysterectomy? No. You will have your cervix removed if you get a total hysterectomy, which is if you didn't like that cervix, penetration and whatever, you're just going to have to find a different way to get that sensation. Get a sex toy, that aids with that. So, remember, you can still have an orgasm. You can have all of this sex play with no problems. You just have to find different ways to get you off. Some of your old ways will still work, but there are a lot of new ways that will work even better. So, moving right along. Now, this is, and I'm just being very lenient with this number, 99.9 of guys will use spit as a lubricant. Is it safe during sex? Well, no. It does pose a little... Okay, so it does pose threats. Let's put it this way. Our mouths are considered one of the dirtiest places. So if you're getting sweat from it, spit from it to use during sex, and you're putting on very sensitive parts of your body, the genitals, especially on women, because women are built differently, you are going to actually cause more damage, or could cause real bad infections. Remember, the spit is coming from the mouth. Your mouth is producing, STDs go through your spit. Remember, this is your mouth we're talking about here, the dirtiest thing that we have on our bodies. We eat food. Food gets stuck in your teeth and stays there for a while, and you probably don't even know it. You don't brush all the time. Our mouths are dirty. So if they're using spit, imagine what gets transmitted through that spit. Now, for those of you out there who suffer from herpes, like fever blisters, that is a form of herpes. It's on your mouth, so it will be transmitted through such. Remember that. Now, you don't have any lube, and you're in the moment and you just use that spit. Well, unfortunately, it's not. I can only say that it will spread the STDs or STIs, which is sexually transmitted diseases. Obviously, if your partner has a herpes lesion, as I've just said, that's going to give you genital herpes. Believe it or not, if they're using their spit to lube some stuff up down there. It is the most common way for genital herpes to be spread, believe it or not, because generally most people get coleslaws around their mouth, don't really, I'll get a fever blister, and they'll just go about it normally, not really knowing the true indications of what it is. And that's the virus. So if they're going down on you and they have a coleslaw, it's herpes is asymptomatic and symptomatic. Asymptomatic. So you know they blister, you know there's sores. How do you think it gets there? It's from a virus. So you're taking that virus, your partner's going down on you. Now where is the virus? In your genitals. This is not the only STD that is transmitted this way. Gonorrhea is, chlamydia is, HPV is, syphilis, trichomoniasis. Probably said that completely wrong, but I think you get the gist. Those can be transmitted through your saliva. Really, you may not have any symptoms whatsoever, so you think that, oh, he went down on me, or she went down on me, and it was amazing. Not realizing, you're not thinking about that when they're doing it. So you're all caught up in the moment, in that sexual satisfaction and getting your groove on, that you don't even think about it. However, it can happen. Now, you can get a vaginal infection. All right, now, there are the bacteria that your saliva carries is much different than the bacteria in your vagina. So, because saliva contains digestive enzymes that break down your food when you eat, when this bacteria and those enzymes are introduced into the vagina, it generally can upset that vaginal microbiome. Basically, in layman's terms, it can change the way your chemical in that bacteria is going to react, which causes the infection. You're disrupting that natural balance in your vagina. It can usually lead, to susceptible to developing up and causing all kinds of things that will go on, infection-wise. However, obviously these are curable infections that develop. But when the balance of yeast and bacteria that are already in your vagina naturally, you're throwing off. That's just like throwing off your pH balance in your body when you're using something that's supposed to equalize your pH balance because you think it's off. So you go in there and you do that, and then all of a sudden it throws off your pH balance. This is the same thing. That bacteria that is in your partner's mouth is going to introduce all of that into your vagina. And the bacteria don't exactly play together nicely. Obviously, using saliva, it's there, it's quick, you don't get out of the groove of things, and your partner may think it's perfect, but it is not perfect. It is the perfect storm to alter your lovely vaginal ecosystem that's going on down there. And it does it with such intensity that you can get a yeast infection or a bacterial infection. Another big infection is a UTI, because the way in which women are built. So, because we are so close and you're playing around with the clitoris. It is so close to the urethra. Granted, it blocks off during sex because it gives way to you being able to have that orgasm. But you gotta pee right after if you don't, and it doesn't block off all that bacteria is gonna get down there. You've gotta really clean up after. And it's nothing against the partner at all. You're not trying to tell them that they stink or whatever they're meant. It's just that women's bodies are so much different. And, spit is not good as a lube. Really, if you remove that risk of contracting an STD or that vaginal infection, it's still not advisable to use spit. There are no good qualities to it. It doesn't really make a good lubricant. So you gotta look at it this way. Spit, okay. It doesn't have like a slippery consistency. And it basically, the minute it comes out, goes down, evaporates, and dries up. So where is the lubricant in that? Hello? Let's think about that. It really just gives you further irritation. Obviously, please get lubrication. To help with your partner's personal supply of lubricant. Because it's there so it's made for a reason. They wouldn't make it if there wasn't one. So if you're having a little bit of problems, like say you were having sex like a week ago or the other day and you noticed that it was a little dry, get up, go to the sex store. Go to a sex store, get some lubricant, order it online. God, it's all over the damn place. You can get it so easy because, if it is dry, your vagina is dry, and then goes to penetrate, that friction can cause little tears and nicks and things, which is very painful for later on. And you don't want that, because when those little tears and those little snags or whatever that happen, one, not only are harmful, but they do allow harmful microbes into your body. And then you are definitely going to get an infection. And that 99.9% that I spoke about is a very true value. And this is the true value where that percentage of individuals have used spit as a lubricant. Remember, if one lubricant does not work and you're getting irritated, try, go between two. The water-based lubricant, try it. If it works, stick with it. If it's not working, try the silicone-based lubricant, because that may help a lot better. It's a little bit more thicker and usually a little easier on the body, so to speak. But on that note, dun, 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 this is the end of the show. And as always, please practice safe sex, especially after what I have just told you. If not for yourself or your partner, and vice versa. If you are going to try something new in the sexual bed with your partner, or even on yourself, educate, communicate, and always get consent. So, on that note, I would like to thank you again for tuning into the GSMC Sex Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I ask that you do give us a awesome review. Please subscribe to the show. Hit 5 stars. Give us the reviews, because it not only helps me, but it helps the GSMC podcast network in knowing what to bring to you for your sexual pleasures. Also, I would like that you seek us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, because we are there. Leave us, like us, hit that little heart right there, or that thumbs up. Let us know what you want to hear on here. Tweet us, message us, all of those good things that come along. And on that note, please enjoy your Christmas with Sexmas. Make sure you give Santa your Christmas list, and I hope that you get everything that you want on your Christmas list. Please enjoy your upcoming holidays, which is, oh my goodness, Friday. Came up quick. And on that, I will say, please have a great sex night in Sexmas.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type in GSMC to find all of our shows from the GSMC Podcast Network. From sex and relationships to health and wellness, life and happiness, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast.